Your Name is a wonderful 2016 anime film directed by Makoto Shinkai that tells the story of Mitsuha, a 17-year-old girl living in the small town of Itomori, as well as Taki, a 17-year-old high school student who, unlike Mitsuha, lives in a small apartment in the loud and fast-paced city of Tokyo. Mitsuha's classmates make fun of her one night as she performs the Kuchikamezaki, a traditional ritual in which she chews and spits rice into a container. Mitsuha, frustrated and dissatisfied with her life in Itomori, finds herself screaming to the sky, wishing to be a handsome Tokyo boy in her next life. Mitsuha and Taki begin having strange dreams, in which they switch bodies with one another. But when a few of their friends comment on how strange they recently have acted, they realize that what appears to be a very realistic dream may be much more realistic than they initially thought. Soon after, the two try to communicate with one another, desperately trying to figure out who the stranger is with whom they have been randomly switching bodies. Despite their hazy memories of their experience in each other's bodies, the two begin to form a sort of relationship. But things take an unusual turn when Taki discovers that they lived 3 years apart, and that in his reality, Mitsuha had died 3 years before his current time in a space form from a fragment of a comet that fell in Itomori. Though this film may appear to be a beautifully animated but complex piece of cinematography that heavily focuses on the concept of finding your soulmate at first, if you truly open yourself to the emotional depth of the film, you may discover that this is much, much more than originally meets the eye. Your Name is a charming story that weaves together beautiful lessons about time, connection, and the agony of longing for something that you don't even know. Each of our protagonists has a monologue with themselves, in which they portray a feeling, a sensation that they are unable to shake. This obstinate heartache for something familiar but far away, something that they can't quite define other than a longing for something that they're not sure is even real. I believe we can all relate to this, especially in this day and age when we spend so much time inside of our own heads, which can be lonely and frustrating. To be unsure of why. Why do we sometimes feel separated? Not from someone or something physical, but from a sensation, a feeling that will bring our heart peace if we can find a way to reconnect with it. The use of strings, threads, and chords as a recurrent theme throughout this film is very noticeable, starting with the common trail, which splits into 2 lines, and continuing with the red string Mitsuha gives Taki the first time they meet, and which he brings back before the festival. The use of strings, threads, and lines has an emotional and spiritual meaning, in addition to serving as a visual tool to help us identify when the characters are in their original bodies. When Hithawa explains that the chords Mitsuha and her little sister make represent the flow of time, the chords they make represent life itself. Hithawa says to Mitsuha, earlier in the film, before we learn about the hidden meaning of the chords, and during the family's traditional chord braiding ritual, to listen to the thread's voice. When you keep twining like that, emotions will eventually start flowing between you and the thread. When we first hear those words, they are too abstract for us to comprehend. Only after we understand the symbolicism of the threads as a flow of time and the union of all of our life experiences will we be able to understand what Hithawa meant when she talked about tying threads. Hithawa asked Mitsuha to concentrate, to pay attention to her feelings, because it's only by paying close attention that you can experience the magic of connection. Paying attention to our inner experience allows us to truly savor the experience of embodying love, passion, joy, compassion, and yes, even sadness and anger, because one cannot exist without the other. The most important life lesson I took away from this film came not at the end after Taki and Mitsuha reconciled, but instead a few years earlier. The comet was supposed to destroy Itomori at the twilight hour of the same day when Taki and Mitsuha met for the first time in their original bodies. Whatever is entwined with the thread of our lives, every connection we've made, Whether a song or a person, whatever we felt deep emotions of love, resonance, and connection for is not eternal. Our life string is constantly tangling, converging, and intertwining with various things and various people. But the connection can unravel or break at any time, and nothing can guarantee that we'll ever reconnect again. These moments of connection, those emotions that grow, are something that we should treasure in our hearts as long as we have the opportunity to experience them. What are your feelings about this film? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you are new. And don't forget, you can find more of our content over at thelambency.show.com, where you can find all of our most recent articles, podcasts, videos, and more. And until next time, enjoy yourself.